I'll start this video off like this. I've literally lost friends over Charlie Kirk dying. They told me he wouldn't piss on me if I was on fire. I would much rather be told the truth than be lied to, and he told the truth a lot of times about this world and what's going on. Ilhan Omar may have just declared herself a national threat to this country. She was once $50,000 in debt, and now she has a net worth of $30 million. Let's get right to the video, guys.
Harris, Congresswoman Ilhan Omar facing some significant fallout after making these harsh comments following the assassination of Charlie Kirk.
There is nothing more effed up, than to completely pretend that his words and actions have not been recorded and in existence for the last decade. These people are full of and it's important for us to call them out.
Tennessee.
So I've always asked this one question. Why do we pay these people that despise our country? She literally hates this country. She talks about everybody that's in it, but she wants to be one of our representatives to earn so much money, and she claims she's always broke. That's what I don't understand, guys. Let's keep going.
Republican Senator Marsha Blackburn took offense, reacting on X, quote, Ilhan shows no remorse in slandering an honorable man who was brutally murdered in cold blood for the entire world to see. As many grieve the loss of a husband, father, and patriotic American, Ilhan has chosen a divisive and dangerous path for our country. Omar responded to the heat she's taking for her comments by saying that while she disagreed with Charlie Kirk vehemently about his rhetoric, that her heart breaks for his wife and children. Then there's Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker, a potential presidential candidate who went political right after expressing his sympathy.
Wow.
I think the president's rhetoric often foments it. We've seen the January 6th rioters who clearly, have tripped a new era of political violence. And the president, what did he do? He pardoned them. I mean, what kind of signal does that send?
Guys, I think we've made it way past the point of these Democrats, right? I think it's time to start labeling them as a domestic terror group because all they're doing is causing chaos within the actual Americans that want a better country. The only thing Trump is trying to do, make this a better country. And people like Charlie Kirk knew that. And he loved this country. And one thing that I know that a lot of people couldn't do was debate this man. This man was a father. He worshiped Christ. He did everything right. But when people disagree and when people lose the arguments, they had to result in doing something so hateful. Check this next clip out.
At the 9/11 memorial, we were all watching that. And J.D. Vance was supposed to be with you. He went out to be with Charlie Kirk's family and to get the body back to his hometown in Arizona. And you said you were going to award him the Presidential Medal of Freedom, which is very nice of you. Any updates on this suspect?
Yeah. Can I always say, I think, just to protect us all, and so Fox doesn't get sued, and we all don't get sued, and everything else. But I think with a high degree of certainty, we have him in custody, right? In custody. Everyone did a great job. We worked with the local police, the governor. Everybody did a great job. Getting somebody that you start off with absolutely nothing. And we started off with a clip that made him look like an ant. That was almost useless. We just saw there was somebody up there. And so much work has been done over the last 2.5 days. It's amazing, actually, when you start off with that and then all of a sudden you get lucky or talent or whatever it is. But, I think we're in great shape.
Mr. President,
and he's in custody.
Your suspicion was that he was radical left, and now you have more information. What can you share with us about his ideology?
Yeah, Lawrence, let me just, and by the way, Lawrence is doing a good job. What's going on here?
Yeah, Mr. President.
I'll tell you what, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you, sir.
I said you were going to do well. I think that I don't want to go too far. I'd like to tell you some stories at how it happened, but essentially somebody that was very close to him turned him in. And that happens when
I look at it like this, guys. This was a huge wake-up call to leave the Democratic Party. There's a lot of people having these outbreaks all over online because they're witnessing how these people can treat someone that was just murdered in cold blood. They're witnessing this, right? I don't know if you guys have Facebook, Instagram, or however you guys do anything with your social life, but I've seen so many countless people on Facebook congratulating this, right? They're thankful that Charlie Kirk lost that. And I'm very hurt that we lost that conservative voice because I would love to watch more of his debates, honestly. I would love for him to see his kids grow up. You know, I would love for a lot of stuff to go on, but in this hurtful, hurtful world, I think we gotta stay together. We gotta spread more peace. I think that's what the track that Trump is trying to get us on.
When you had some of those good shots, somebody is going to say, whether it's a parent or whatever, I'd rather not say right now. They're going to announce it today, sometime later, probably talk about that. But somebody close to him turned and, they said, whoa, it's interesting. We had very good pictures, but not great, not perfect. And when you look at it, what happened is somebody, and this happens a lot. It happened with the crazy Boston bomber. It happened with others. Somebody that's close recognizes even a little tilt of the head, which nobody else would do. And somebody that was very close to him said, that's him. And essentially went to the father, went to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic, by the way. And the person was involved with law enforcement, but was a person of faith, a minister. And brought him to a U.S. Marshal, who was fantastic. And the father convinced the son, this is it. And again, I'm always subject to be corrected, but I'm just giving you, based on what I'm hearing, they'll give you a much more active. I just heard about it 5 minutes before I walked in. As I'm walking in, they said, looking real good. They have the person that they wanted. So you have breaking news, don't you, huh?
Thank you.
You always have breaking news, Ainsley. Sean's going to be very disappointed.
This is a very, very, very sad time. I think that September 10th, September 11th are days that Americans will never be able to forget. You know, you have 9/11, down Charlie Kirk. I mean, these are hard times. I think these are the times where you got to look at your neighbor. You got to let your friends know that you love them, you care for them. You never know when the last time that you're going to see these people, because people are ending other people's life just off the things that they're saying, and they're okay with this going on. It's scary, man. It's definitely scary.
That we're not doing it on his show.
He'll be very thankful and appreciative of the police officers that got this guy.
They did a great job, everybody worked together. Pam Bondi is incredible, by the way. People don't know what a star she is. She's incredible. And it all worked out.
Could I ask you just some clarification? So a pastor was able to turn him in, or they got the family of the shooter to turn them in?
Well, it was a minister, and the minister went to a minister who was involved with law enforcement, by the way. And his good friend is a top U.S. Marshal. And they took it from there. And then it was a father got involved, namely his father, and said, we got to go in. And they, so I understand it. And again, subject to change. But, the facts are the facts. We have the person that we think is the person we're looking for. But they drove into the police headquarters, and he's there now.
Did the father know about what the son had done?
I don't know. I'm going to let you get all those questions later, because I can't tell you how accurate. The bottom line is they have somebody that they think did it.
So, Mr. President, there is the death penalty in Utah.
Yes.
And I do know this is going to be a federal case, and there's many of us believe that Charlie was targeted because of his political ideology.
Yep.
Yeah.
What is it that you guys think? Do you think this man deserved a death penalty? That may be a dumb question. I don't know. But what do you guys think?
What's going to happen to this guy?
Well, I hope he's going to be found guilty, I would imagine. And I hope he gets the death penalty. What he did, Charlie Kirk was the finest person. He didn't deserve this. He worked so hard and so well. Everybody liked him. I've been watching. Even the left is having a hard time. They fired this guy, Dowd, from MSDNC, who's a terrible guy, terrible human being. But they fired him. I hear they're firing other people. And, we're talking about radical left. Now, they're a little bit, but radical left networks and cable channels, horrible channels like MS. I always go at DNC because it's, somehow affiliated with the Democrat National Committee. So, it's a little statement you make. But MSNBC, but NBC, ABC, CBS, they're all terrible, absolutely terrible and unfair. But even they have been giving it sort of like this can't be allowed to happen.
And I just love moment of silence at the Yankee game, moment of silence at the Redskin game, Commanders game last night, because they understand this doesn't matter who you voted for. This was a special person. My opinion is that you have people, when a soldier dies, you write a personal letter, you feel it. When something happens in America, you feel it, you show up for it. I feel like with Charlie Kirk, from what I witnessed, it's, for you, it's almost like a family member.
You know, Don said to me, he's sort of like a son to you. Charlie got involved like 11 years ago, I think. He started, you know, he's a brilliant guy, but he didn't go to college. He actually started in college. He was so bored that he left. He would have done very well in college if he wanted to, but he was brilliant. I always said, you know, can you get a degree because you're sort of used to having people like you went to college, right? But he just didn't have the patience to do it. And he started this really during what would normally be college, maybe even sooner than that, but what would normally be college. And it's become a movement. And, you know, I won youth. A Republican never wins youth, but I won youth.
Guys, I'll tell you, the left, the liberals, they're literally losing their humanity right before our eyes, right? The type of stuff that they're allowing, the type of stuff that they're sharing and posting online tells you a lot about who these people really are. And it lets you know that those people have a dark energy surrounding them.
The Border Czar Tom Homan joins us tonight to talk about Minnesota as well as a number of other issues. And sir, it's good to have you back on the show. Trump mentioning the Daily Mail reporting from 2020 that Ilhan Omar married her brother to get into the country. This was last week. Take a listen.
Look at their nation. Look how bad their nation is. It's not even a nation. It's just people walking around killing each other. They've taken billions and billions of dollars. They have a representative, Ilhan Omar, who they say married her brother. It's a fraud.
Calls that a fraud. It's a story that has never been successfully refuted, even though it's...
And guys, I don't mean to pause this video as much, but this is going to be a really good video. They don't call these Somalis pirates for nothing, right? I think all of her finances need to be investigated and they need to be frozen while they're doing so, because this is completely outrageous. They took advantage of American taxpayers and then they're going to send this money to Somalia. They're going to really send this money to Somalia like they just don't care. I mean, the problem's like out of control at this point. There's so much stuff coming out. You guys got to check this video out.
It's now a 5-year-old story. That's clearly a deportable offense. Is there an investigation into that?
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file and says, there was immigration fraud involved. The statute of limitations became an issue in the last 4 years when this was first brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files, and we're looking at, but this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
Now let's swoop into this video from Benny Johnson, because it's about to get crazy.
Because Benny, President Trump has this innate ability to keep a secret when he doesn't want you to know something.
Yeah.
Maybe he's too good at that, but then also to really lay the groundwork for something that is about to happen. And he's been talking nonstop about how Ilhan Omar married her brother. We're going to talk about that revelation and all of the evidence to prove that it actually happened, and there's quite a bit of it. But President Trump out this morning saying Ilhan Omar married her brother. Check this out.
That you do want to see in America?
Well, they certainly contribute. Yeah, I want to see people. Yeah, I want to see people that contribute. I don't want to see Somalia. I don't want to see a woman that, marries her brother to get in and then becomes a congressman, does nothing but complain. All she does is complain, 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 and yet her country's a mess. It's one of the worst in the world. Let her go back, fix up her own country. No.
So Donald Trump out saying, listen, Ilhan Omar comes here as a penniless refugee. We accept her. I don't know exactly why we have to accept refugees in this country. Why don't they stay and rebuild their own countries, right? Like, wait a second, you destroyed your country. Why are you coming here to destroy my country? And more importantly, there's a 99.99% Muslim population in Somalia. Why don't other Muslim countries take these populations of refugees? There's tons of African countries. There's tons of Muslim countries. Why don't the other 89 Muslim countries take the Muslim refugees? This I do not understand, because America is not a Muslim country, right? And so just prima facie, we're going to have a much harder time integrating that culture into our society. President Trump is right there. The reason why he keeps talking about marrying her brother, what I hope is happening is the whistleblower that came to our program and said that there is demonstrable evidence to prove that Ilhan Omar married her brother. They have it at DHS. They have it inside of our immigration system. They've proven this, dead to rights.
Freaky.
I hope that President Trump is going to release that. Allegedly has been brought to the White House. But this article is making the rounds once again. Exclusive, Ilhan Omar did marry her brother, and she did what she'd have to do to get him papers. U.S. Somali leader reveals. Laura Ingraham shared this last night. It's been seen by 25 million people. Also,
I just got a question, guys, and you feel free to chime in the comments. But how much blatant fraud do American taxpayers have to put up with? Because I think there needs to be investigation. And why was there not investigation for someone, a part of Congress, to go from $0 to a $30 million net worth in 5 years? I mean, why? Like, no red flags at all? I get that people scheme, I get that people scam, but they're doing this right in front of our eyes, right in front of our faces, and they don't want us to care about it. They think, oh, well, we just blame it on the next person, and 2 weeks they'll forget about it. They'll go on to something else. Let's keep hyping up the Trump hate in the media, and then let's hope they get distracted by that. Because I think that's exactly what they're doing. Because week after week, there's a new scandal to someone a part of this Democratic Party, and a week after that, or 2 weeks after that, we forget about it, or they think we forget about it. But there's so many receipts on how much fraud, dating back to 2020, of how much fraud is actually going on. I'm actually getting upset. Actually, this is sick.
also, the White House shared this last night. Look at this. Worth reading from 2020. It is a few years old, this article. Ilhan Omar did marry her brother and said that she'd do what she had to do to get a paper.
Sick.
So let's go ahead and read the article that they shared. We'll just go through the top line here, what the article states. The findings of the article and this investigation go like this. Ilhan Omar told friends years ago that the man that went on to become her second husband was in fact her brother. The first person to go on the record to speak out about it is a Somali leader from Minneapolis. And he said, yeah, this is obviously her brother. She wanted to get him papers, and this is the way to fast track getting a visa. You marry someone. It had long been rumored that Omar and Ahmed Elmi are siblings. But because of the lack of paperwork in war-torn Somalia, it's never been uncovered. Also in Somalia, inbreeding is at rates of nearly 50% among tribal populations.
Trifling.
So this isn't even frowned on. The whistleblower said she needed to get papers for her brother to go to school. We all thought she was just getting papers for him in the country. Omar was married to her second husband in 2009 by a Christian minister in a Christian church, although she was Muslim. So what she's doing is it's not seen as a real marriage in Islam. She's doing it to trick the system. She was first married in 2002 in a Muslim ceremony. They split up in 2008.
So a Somali woman, a refuge, say, comes here, gets $30 million, and has nothing good to say about America, and he repeatedly takes advantage of the system. And no one's raising their eyebrows. But every little piece of ammo that you give these people so far on the left, they attack Trump. But there's literally documentation, there's literally facts proving that this fraud is going on. But they would rather be screwed than respect our president. Something's fishy about that.
She had another child with her first husband while legally married to the man who is her brother. They got married. A lot of people were invited. It was a big Islamic wedding, uniting two large clans in the community. He added when she married her brother, no one knew about it. No one had been to the wedding because there wasn't even a marriage certificate. The marriage certificate was turned up years later. So this extensive and exhaustive story then leads to this. DNA evidence. Is this proof that Ilhan Omar married her own brother to bypass U.S. immigration rules? Conservative group's DNA test from the Congresswoman's cigarette butt purports to show 99% match for her second husband, her brother. So they went and they got a cigarette that she was smoking. You leave DNA on everything. that you touch, strand of hair, skin, whatever. They say that the match for the DNA taken from the cigarette butt and one that they got from Elmi's, this is her brother's, drinking straw are a 99% match because, well, they're siblings. So, I don't know. Does this stand up to scientific rigor? Is this something that should be tested in a court of law, like an immigration court? Yeah, sure. Right? The president and his team should actually go about prosecuting this. Because again, according to my sources at DHS, they got it. They got her dead to rights. Maybe this is why Ilhan Omar is increasing her net worth, skyrockets to as much as $30 million a month after denying she was a millionaire. Ilhan Omar is now worth $30 million. She entered Congress with negative money. She was $65,000 in debt when she entered Congress in 2020. And now in 5 short years, she's a multi-millionaire. Really begs the question. It really begs the question.
That's what I'm saying.
So Trump is repeating this time and time again. He's saying it again and again and again. He's going after Somalia. And obviously he did this on Thanksgiving Day in a post seen by 77 million people. Ladies and gentlemen, Trump has often joked about sending Ilhan Omar back to Somalia. He said the Somali president said no thank you. From Somalia, who's telling us to run our country. Would you like to take her back? He says, I don't want her.
Guys, I think it's to that point, where you're tired of seeing me, you're tired of hearing Benny, you're tired of even hearing Trump. You want to see action. I think it's one of those things where, someone's not gonna know you're serious until you actually show them that you're serious. And Ilhan Omar needs to be taught a lesson. I'm sorry, I'm just gonna go and say it. Ilhan Omar needs to be sent over there because then people will take this presidency more serious. She needs to be sent away, or she needs to at least be thrown in jail for a day to know that there's consequences for taking advantage of the American people. Please, guys, let me know what you think about this video down below in the comments. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe if you're new. And as always, let me know what you react to. We're out.